What it do? What it do? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Boxing Fan Talks TV. I'm your host, TDT, and we're gonna get into some boxing news. We're gonna turn two, but first, let's rock out. Wait for somebody in the building, but I can't see them. That's all I can do nowadays. I can chair dance. But I'm gonna tell you, if you dance to this shit for hours and hours, it would definitely pull them LBSs off. I like the combo. So y'all already know what set I claim. DMV all day, every day. Where my people at? Where my people at? At the end of the show, I'm going to talk about what this green juice or rust colored juice is. Somebody emailed me and asked me about it. So I'm going to give you a little taste of what I'm doing. A couple people in here, but I can't see you in the chat. What it do? Let me give you a shout out. Like I said, welcome to my channel. Reggie Bell in the building. What's popping, King? Reggie, you know about this. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Well, anyway, that's how I get pumped. I get pumped from go-go music. I don't know about y'all, but I'm from Virginia, so that's what I like, and that's what I like to play. So let me turn this off. Um, it's a good exercise type thing you want to listen to because, like I said, if you can dance to the beat and you do it for hours upon hours, and then check yourself in a month. Back in my day, you know how we all be stuck in our day. I'm stuck sometimes in the 90s in 1996 when I could go to the club and dance all night and still get up and go to work the next morning. Can't do that shit now. But that was one of the things I did. I went to go-go clubs. Loved it. But anyway, we're talking about duck season, right? Duck season. And Canelo is definitely in 2021 duck season. Um, you know, not sure why he's ducking, but that's some music for Canelo right there. He's not the only one who's ducking, but I figured it was worth talking about since Canelo is having a hard time picking a dance partner. At least that's what the word on the street is, that he's looking for an opponent to fight for, the remaining month, or looking for a card or a schedule. He wants to get on the schedule, the boxing schedule for the rest of this year, but he's having trouble finding a dance partner. And I don't think it's that hard to find. He shouldn't be having trouble. You got a lot of people that called him out, but he don't want to fight. So what do you do in a situation like this? This is Canelo's music right here. Somebody should make a meme of him as a duck, because that's what he's doing. So Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade called them out. And when he called them out, all Canelo had to say was, payday, payday. He looking for a payday. If you look at a couple of videos I had before now, I talked about the three pillars of boxing as I saw it from a fan's perspective. And the three pillars of boxing are that boxing is a business first and foremost. What type of business? It's an entertainment business. That's the first pillar. So if you get into the sport of boxing, you need to understand that part and study as much as you can. You need to know your numbers. You need to know percentages. I mean, whatever you need to know in regards of business. Number two is prize fighting. And any boxer that tell you different is crazy. So when Canelo's saying payday, payday, he act like he actually got to dig in his pocket to pay that person. And he don't. He don't. It comes with the budget, the purses. But boxing is prize fighting. So that shouldn't even be brought up. And the third pillar is the individual fighter himself. And I say fighter because you have MMA fighters, you have um, karate, all type of combat sports, um, as well as boxing. But we're talking about boxing here. So uh, if you're a fighter, you want to set short and long term goals. You want to have a plan. You just don't want to come in there sporadic and free nilly willy. You need to know what you're trying to do and make moves that's going to help you get to where you want to be, where you say you want to be. Now, Canelo wants to be the all time great. And I think it's a little jealousy with the Mexican fighters. I hope y'all don't get mad at me, but this is just how I see it. It's a little jealousy with Mexican fighters because they act like that they have always been the best. And there's only really one that they can hold up, and that's Chavez Sr. But Canelo will be a Hall of Famer. But I cannot put too much credence in Canelo. As I told y'all before, I don't put credence in people who cheat. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And the fact that he's ducking, he's not the only one. It's a lot of people ducking. So we got Canelo, we got who else? I'll get to those, but in different weight classes, we can find the duck. Reggie Bell, he's gonna get paid too. Sounds like he's taking a page out of bum book. Don't come in here with that red. No, no. Crawford and Keith Thurman are different situations. L Dub in the building was popping king. So I mean, Canelo is just a straight up duck. Now, for him to have a problem looking for an opponent when he had Caleb Plant right there, I need to stop hitting my table because I'm sure it comes in through the sound. So I apologize. But Canelo, he had Caleb Plant, and all you gotta do is go look what Caleb Plant had to say about the situation, and you will see. In the end of the day, Canelo is ducking. I like I said, I cannot put no credence into a cheater. He also says stupid stuff like, "I won't fight Mexicans" or "I won't fight blacks." And what I say to that is, you got to respect my black dollar. My black dollar spends just like anybody else dollars. All dollars are green. So for you to be like, "I'm not fighting no black fighters," why? If y'all in the sport of boxing, did I miss something? Is boxing a team sport? All of a sudden, I mean, you have a team to help you, but is it a team sport? Like, do y'all tag team or something? Well, we know the answer, but I mean, that's how they sound. It doesn't even make sense. But he's ducking, and so therefore he don't have an opponent, and that's because of his own doing. Now, like I said, Demetrius Andre called them out. Lou Dub Boxer said all green. I feel you. Damn right. That's why I always say respect my black dollars. Cause it's been just like yours. I ain't gonna tell them what theirs is, but dollars spend the same. But Demetrius called him out, and all he can say is payday, payday. Now I know a lot of people made fun of him on how he said payday, payday. But don't he sound like a tattoo from Fantasy Island? Look, boss, the plane, the plane. Remember that? I don't know. You gotta be a certain age to remember that. But I was a avid Fantasy Island watcher, and Canelo sound like tattoo. But Demetrius called him out, and Demetrius is a fighter who has 30 fights, 30 wins, 18 by knockout. He's 33 years old. He stands 6 feet tall. He has a 73 and a half inch reach. I could say the same thing about Jamal Charlo. He has a 73 and a half reach. He also is 6 feet tall, and he also fights in the middleweight. Now, Canelo might quiver about the weight class. Well, I don't fight at 160. Canelo, you are no position. You are in no position to ever talk about a weight class because Triple G exposed you years ago when he said before we knew who a Canelo was, this was before he fought Floyd, before he became popular in the States. Canelo used to spar with Triple G. And he was big then. That's what Triple G said. He don't even know why he ever picked the 147 weight to fight in. And Canelo did because he's a weight bully and you can do that. But he can't sit up and say he can fight at 147 because obviously you can. Canelo is a fighter that probably walks around at about 200 pounds. But yet he spent time in the 147 weight division, the welterweight. He spent time in the super welterweight, 154, or junior middleweight. And he spent time in middleweight, in the super middleweight. And he even went up to 175. Canelo all over the place. And when Benavidez dropped his belt or lost his belt on that damn scale, because that's another way you can lose a fight on a scale. Canelo swooped in like a goddamn hawk circling his prey. Hence, he ducked. Because he didn't want no parts of Benavidez. He don't want no parts of Andrade. He don't want no parts of Jamal Charlo. And now he's searching for a fight, an opponent. Sorry, an opponent to be put on the schedule because he'll look silly if he was on somebody's undercard. So now he has a head up a card or pick a schedule. Ain't nobody gonna sit around and wait for you, Canelo. You ducking. It's duck season, and that's what he want to do. So I'm not sure why they let him get away with it. I think it's because he has the complexion for the protection. And a lot of Mexican fighters from like Mexico on down to South America, a lot of these fighters that come from them regions, they actually think they white. I don't know why. And it's relevant to what I'm talking about in boxing because they walk around thinking they got privilege that even white men know that they don't have. So I don't really understand it. Canelo is appeasing to the eye for the powers that be. And they feel and he's all pageantry up. Now if you look at a previous video of mine, I asked a relevant question. Do you throw the baby out with the bathwater? The baby being boxing itself, the fighters and this, that, and the other. And I'm sorry for the barking my dogs. And the bathwater being all the grimy stuff in boxing that we don't like. And my answer was no. If you could fix boxing in a way that you don't throw the baby out, hence the boxing sport itself, then I'm all for it. But Canelo, I made up a list, and under the bathwater, it was a pageantry, and he's in that category big time. Now I will say it's not his fault all the way because I don't think he picked that, but they picked it for him. You know, it's about like a beauty pageant how that will run, and boxing shouldn't run like that. He has the look, so they say. I wouldn't have said he had the look, but I'm not the powers that be. I'm just a fan, you know. But he has the looks, and so he's gonna get the royal treatment. He's gonna get the red carpet, laid out for him. We can overlook him cheating. You know, this is how they fix that problem. They raise the limit of how much clenbuterol you can have in your system so that he don't come off like the cheater that he is. And I don't believe that you wake up in the middle of your career and then you just all of a sudden just stop cheating. I don't believe that. Because when Floyd and Canelo met in the ring, I think Canelo had I'm not for certain, but I know he was over 30 fights. So that's the middle of your career. Reggie Bell. Lara whooped him and was robbed. He sure was. He sure was, and Triple G beat him the first time. So Canelo is their prima donna, and it's all pageantry with him. So when he say payday, payday, y'all don't need to ever pay attention to that because that's what he looking for. Every fighter that step in the ring is looking for a payday. That almighty dollar. You know what I'm saying? That almighty dollar is all that. Money, 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 money. Okay, so Canelo, I don't know why it's so hard. I'm not gonna feel sorry for him. I hope he don't fight. I will never again buy another Canelo fight. I'm just not gonna do it. And it has nothing to do with how I feel about him cheating. I'm just not impressed. Canelo is another one who for years wanted you to just stand still like you a boxing bag and let him beat you, complain about fighters who move. They just ran. No, they had ring generalship. They had ring generalship like they were supposed to. So, Canelo, I really don't understand this guy. I mean, the schedule is out there for him to take, and I'm sure anybody will put him ahead of the line to get him a card. But, he's being particular, so he's doing bitch shit. So, he's not a fighter to be watched. I'm not pressed for him. I only report on it because he was supposed to be fighting Caleb Plant. And like I said, you have to go look at Caleb's assessment of it or what he said about it. There's a clip out there that Caleb breaks down and explains what Canelo did or what happened in their whole situation. Um, Jamal is waiting. Andrade is definitely ready. Boo Boo ready. Boo Boo is ready. All you gotta do is put the contract together. Don't worry about what they paying Boo Boo. That ain't nothing for you to worry about. It ain't coming out your pocket. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And like I told you, we can't say it's a thing of they too little or they too big. Canelo has made a career out of going up and down on the weight. And he walks around like 200, but you'll never see him fight a cruiserweight. You won't do that. You won't see him fight a heavyweight. He won't do that either. So, um, but what I will say about Canelo though, real talk, Canelo stays on code. No matter what, he stays on code. Something a lot of our black fighters can learn to do. He stays on code, and if you don't know what code is, you got to go look it up. Cause I ain't gonna go too in depth about that, but everybody should know what staying on code means, and he do. That's something. I guess he a credit to his race. So I'm gonna move on from him. The duck. No, no, no. But I'm not gonna move on from duck season though just yet. So I gotta talk about the different weight classes. So everybody at the 135-pound lightweight division is ducking. And who are they ducking? Devin the Dream Haney. So Big Daddy Haney can't get nobody to get in the ring with his son. So we have all joked and laughed at Rolly Ramiro. I told y'all he can't get right. Remember that movie Life? There's something about Rolly that can't get right. I don't know how anybody missed it, but I picks it up. But that's not why I laugh at him. I mean, it is kind of, but there's something off about him. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I guarantee you, his parents was told when he was young that he can't get right. But anyway, he all up T.O. Femo's butt. T.O. ducking Devin, Rolly ducking Devin, Ryan Garcia ducking Devin. Now JoJo Diaz is ducking Devin. Javier Fortuna was ducking Devin. They all fight for this interim belt to be the number one contender under the WBC. And the person who holds the regular WBC belt is Devin Haney. But they won't fight him. As Devin always say, they say everything but let's fight. And I'm not understanding that neither, but I guess it's duck season. It's been duck season for them since the beginning of the year, maybe even last year. Tio, I like you as a fighter. I do. I like you as a fighter, and I think you're a good boxer. I think you deserve the belts that you got. But you ducking Devin. Why? Man, you gonna fight Camboso? Okay, that has to happen. That's your mandatory. But after you fight Camboso, which you made a mess of that, I made a video on that one too. Then what you gonna do? Are you gonna fight Devin? Right? Are you gonna sign a contract or get into negotiation with Big Daddy? I mean, what you gonna do? Ryan Garcia, you need to have several seats. You're not even a real boxer at this point. I know it's one thing to get in the gym and train. It's another thing to get in the ring with somebody. You're not even a real boxer. You a scared little boy who is now a father twice over. You got two kids. I ain't saying nothing bad about your kids. I'm just saying you're a father, but you sitting up here acting scared. You scared of Devin. Why? I mean, all of y'all always refer to when y'all were sparring Devin. Because Big Daddy took Devin all around the country. And maybe that's the problem, Big Daddy. You took him all around the country and gave everybody a little preview of what your son can do. And Devin was washing people everywhere he went. And hopefully they was hoping maybe they'd get better. But it might have backfired on them because the secret is out. They either had experience with Devin or know somebody directly who had experience with Devin in sparring. And the word was out on the street. Nah, you don't want him. But they avoiding this dude like straight up stalling his career. At this point, Devin, either fight some of the B level fighters in your division or move up to 140 and see what they do there. But it's a crying shame because what you gonna see it in the 140 division. You definitely gonna see Tio, and if JoJo keep getting big, maybe him. Rolly got to roll up there. But I doubt if you ever see Ryan or Fortuna. I doubt it. But you probably need to make that decision, Devin. That's up to you and Big Daddy. But the secret's out. They scared of you. So to me, when I say everybody, I mean the top tier fighters at the 135. And Ryan, you was never a top tier fighter, but you make a lot of noise. So you well known. That's all your claim to fame because you was never a top tier fighter. And you could be. You could be if you focus and buckle down and really try, but you scared. And nobody can fix scared. So then let's go to the 126 pounds. I say everybody ducking in there too. It's just straight duck season. If you pass the 126 pounds and you did not see Gary Russell Jr., then you ducked. Why wouldn't you see him? He has held the belt longer than any other champion. That's what has happened. He's had that belt, that what is it, WBC belt, forever and a day. But yet people do not want to fight him. But then you will go up to 130 and you want us to pay to come see you? You missed the whole person right there. Gary is sitting there. All you gotta do is say, I want to fight with Gary, especially in his division. But y'all will go from like 122 to 130 and act like Devin. I mean not Devin. Gary Russell don't exist. Devin is a 135. Y'all would gladly pass him by and just you know act like he don't even have a belt. That's crazy. You didn't want to be a champion. You didn't want to be a WBC champion at 126. So in my opinion, when I say everybody, I'm talking about the top tier fighters in the 126. They was on some duck season shit. Now, the question I know Red is waiting for is Crawford a duck? Red, Red, what say you? What say you, Red? Is Crawford a duck? Now be honest, Red. Give an honest assessment. Cat got your fingers. You can't type fast enough. Crawford is not a duck. I don't think so. And everybody knows, in full disclosure, Crawford is my guy. That's my favorite fighter. But I ain't gonna lie for Crawford. He make unusual moves in these streets. And he'll say quack quack. Shucky ducky quack quack. Not for Crawford. I don't even think Keith Thurman is a duck because I've been calling out for Keith to get with one of these channels. I'm not sure how to do it now, but get with any one of these platforms. Let me take that back. Not anyone. Get with Drew Titan. Get with Bob Shop Conversations. Get with KQKC. Get with somebody. Sit down and explain your plight. Why you made the decisions that you made. Because when you said it to Fight Hype or whoever it was that was interviewing you, I assume it's Fight Hype. When you said it to them, I understood exactly what you were saying. I understood. But, when you talking to people who really love boxing and they don't understand your moves, then it is what it is. It is what it looked like. So I'm gonna give you an example of good moves when it comes to your personal life bleeding into the boxing world. So Errol Spence just had to bow out his fight that was supposed to be this weekend for a legitimate reason. Let me repeat, a legitimate reason. He had a torn retina, and he found out like on a Monday. He didn't even know. He was in his pre-medical screening for the fight. So when he found out Monday, he went and got second and third opinions and was having surgery that Wednesday. All this in 3 days, or you might as well say two, because Tuesday was a full day and Wednesday he was in surgery. All this in 2 days. And when he found out, after he got his second or third opinion, this is when he told the fans the next day. That's how you make moves in these streets. That's how people can be like, oh, okay, I see what happened. I'm gonna rock with you. But y'all don't do that. So Keith, you didn't do that. And you need to explain to the boxing fans. You do need to explain because we are the ones who pay you. You have to respect our dollars. We're the ones who pay you. So to the boxing fans, we can't understand why you made the moves that you made. Now, after you explain it, I don't think a lot of people looked at it because a lot of people have dismissed you, Keith. A lot of people has dismissed you by this point. So I know, Red, you meant ducking, I meant. So Keith, get on one of these programs. I beg you to get on one of these programs and explain it, in a more calm way, what your decision process was, what you were thinking at the time, and maybe some people will understand. I understand that you want to get your number one spot back, but before you go on that journey, you need to break things down to the fans of everybody. You should always be upfront with the fans because we are the ones that pay your salary. We are the ones that put you in a position where you have leverage, where you can demand better pay and this, that, and the other. But Crawford is not a duck. Crawford made a bad business deal for the fans. Might not have been a bad business deal for him, but a bad business deal for the fans. And I'm agreeing with that. To anybody who say that Crawford looked weird in these streets, in these boxing streets, I agree with that. I can't defend stuff that's indefensible. I just can't do it. So I'm agreeing with y'all on that, but I don't think Crawford ducked nobody. I think he could take the smoke from anybody who want to bring it. And when he fights Sean Porter, that's another deadline that's coming up. I want to say the 21st or the 24th. I know this by the time August 27th, maybe. By the time in about a week or so, there's a couple of deadlines that's got to be reached. The Crawford and Porter fight got to be under agreement and a date set. Um, the Camboso and Teofimo fight got to be reached. So that's all happening in the next week. But the fight, the premier fight that's coming up now is this weekend between Pacquiao and your Danish Ugas. Now, if your Danish Ugas get an upset and beat Pacquiao, everybody gonna be shocked. I think he can do it, but will he be able to do it that night? Will he be the better man that night? Is the question. I can't count Pacquiao out with him because this is probably one of his biggest fights. Will he cave under the lights? I don't know. But I can count Pacquiao out when it comes to Errol Spence. I can count him out because Earl was Earl was gonna wash him. You know what I'm saying? So depends. Okay, I was just looking at some notes that I made. Oh, so when people be saying they get the belts, they become undisputed, right? And then they drop the belts, and then they never defend the title. Now, I thought you should stick around a little bit and defend your title, just a little bit, at least 5 opponents or something. But that's not how boxers are doing these days. They get the belts and then they drop them and move to the next weight class, and that could be almost cool. I could almost rock with that if the fighter went through their division on their way to get these belts. Like if they fought everybody and they was cleaning out the division on their way up, then I'm cool with it. But if they got in there and some kind of stroke of luck because they walk through raindrops and never get wet and they got an opportunity to fight somebody with the belt and they get a belt and then they get like undisputed or something, or maybe they got 3 belts and they unify and then they drop the belts and they move to another weight class. I don't like that because that's not showing me anything. That's showing me that you mostly just opportunist. You're just checking the box so that you can say I was the greatest. That's not being the greatest. You got to put time and effort into each weight class that you're in. Now, if you can't fight in that weight class no more, it's understandable. People go through that all the time without championship belts, and they move up because they can't make that weight no more. But we all understand. We could be sympathetic to that, but I can't be sympathetic to somebody who just come in the weight division and just only fight for the belts. And then as soon as they get them, they move up. You're not really telling me or showing me anything about you as a fighter. Reggie Bell said, a con man, so you should know Bum is a con man in boxing. I don't know no such thing, Reggie. Crawford is not a con man. Where your buddy at, Reggie? Reggie, where your buddy? They didn't show up. Well, yeah. So that's that. Like, fighting in your division, you should clear it out. Either you clear it out on your way to the glory or after you get the glory, if you so be lucky to get in a match, way before your time, or just how the cards fell, you was able to get in, then you should definitely defend your titles so we can know what we working with. We can know what kind of fighter you are. Because chances are, if you have all the belts and you move up to another weight class, you're gonna be right there at the top of the line or in the front of the line trying to get the belt in that weight class. And I don't know how that's fair. You say you looking for his comments yourself. They might be in here. Sometimes people in here and I don't see, like it could be more than what it's showing me on here. 'Cause I see people come in and out. So I'm gonna move on to this subject. I talked about it a little bit on yesterday. We was talking about women going to 3-minute rounds. Okay. And Drew Titan dropped the nugget and he said that it was because of the concussions or the rate of concussions that women get per males, and he's right. He's right. They have deemed that women get more concussions comparatively to men. Um, I still say though, if they feel they could do 3 minutes, maybe they should all get a quorum together and try to come up with a consensus. Maybe 2.5 minutes, but 2 minutes in the ring, you getting the very thing you don't want to have. Because if you worried about concussions, that's how these women fight. They have phone booth fights the whole time, and all they do is aim at the head. And I guess it's like whoever can take it the most, who drops first. I don't know. Or he may be teaching a class. That's what's up. Um, so Top Rank said that he would hire more women fighters, Bob Arum, that is, if if they had moved the time on the rounds up to 3 minutes. Top Rank said that they would. So um, Clarissa Shields advocates for it. She would know whether a woman can take a punch. If that minute is going to do make a difference. Because I think it won't. I think what will happen is that they will be more strategic in their fighting. They will take their time. They would do ring generalship. They would do everything that we look for in males who box. It won't always be head hunting and just swinging for the fences. I think they would take their time and strategize and set traps and do four counters and parry and slip punches and fight on the back foot and check hooks. And I think they would do all those things if they had more time. But when you got 2 minutes, somehow or another, in 2 minutes, you got to show that you was the dominant fighter. And what they wound up doing, they just swing, 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 swing. I don't want to see that. That is not entertaining to me because damn near most fights be like that. Now I will say, Clarissa Shields, one of her last fight that I saw her in, she actually seemed like she was strategic in there. It actually looked like boxing. She was taking her time. She was jabbing to the stomach, jabbing up top, setting traps, backing up, walking her opponent down. She was doing all that stuff. And I was like, I was thoroughly impressed. But I've also seen her earlier in her professional life um, throw a lot of punches too. And that's what I think the 2 minutes does. Now, even if the concern was safety, which it is, and they worrying about women getting concussions, I had a question. Is it the concussions that women get, or is it that women go to the doctor comparatively to men a lot more? So what is it? Is it because we go to the doctor and get seen? Maybe there's men walking around with concussions all the time, but they never knew. Robert Bell said he said, "Do you think the fights would be action packed at 3 minutes?" Hell yeah! Think about it. You're not gonna want to be a runner. You got to make it through the 3 minutes. They're not concerned with front running. By the time they get in the ring, the bell rings. They own each other ass. And by the time they like run out of breath or something, the round is almost over. But 3 minutes, you have to think about that shit. You have to think about that and be more strategic. Do you want to be a front runner in the beginning of the ring, or do you want to be the 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 back runner? I guess that's what you would call it in the latter part of the ring. Which one you want to turn up the juice on? You said she looked real good in the fight. She got dropped in. Yeah, yeah. She always looked good in her fight. Ever since she got with what's that guy named Jackson? I think his last name Jackson. The dude with the ponytail. He used to be a coach for or trainer for Kovalev till Kovalev shitted on him and he came to his senses. But he said he's much more happier training the women. But I think they got a camaraderie and seemed like her fight game got better to me. It just to me. But like I said, I don't like the phone booth. And I could take the phone booth even in male fighting, um, if that's part of what they do. There's time to turn it up and it's time to, relax, whatever. It's strategy. That's all it is. So like, sometimes they relaxing because they need to catch their breath. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. Ain't that right, Rigo? Y'all know I love Regan Dow. You know, I wish he scrapped more, but I can't complain. He did. He said that's all it took. But yeah, I want it. I'm one of the people that advocate. But now the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman said he not interested in it. He going by the rules. The rules been that way, and they looking at it from an aspect of safety, and he think it's a greater risk, and it is a greater risk. Just boxing, period, is a greater risk. Anybody can get a concussion, but like I said, women will go to the doctor over anything quicker than men will. Reg, you say you think that's crossover gonna help her or hurt her. I think it's gonna help women's boxing. I think it's gonna help. Oh, you talking about her fighting in the MMA? No, I don't think it's gonna hurt her. I think she hungry for competition, and there's really none in her era. You know, like I have said this before. If you put her resume down in front of you, and you took her name off and just knew that it was a boxer's resume, she would be as rich as Pacquiao, Canelo, and Floyd. You know, she'd be as rich as they are because that's a hellified uh, resume. Even they don't have that kind of resume, but she really don't have a lot of competition. And it's not that there's not competition out there. It's a lot of women that just not choosing to be boxers. So you have a when you talk about the males or the men, you have a pool of thousands of boxers to come across the desk at any point, any time. You don't have that for women. You may have a few, but hopefully it's going to pick up. But again, um, how do you do have to condense things for women because we're not as physically stronger than men. So maybe the most a woman can fight is 10 rounds. Maybe most of their beginning fights should be 8 rounds, but it still should be 3 minutes. That extra minute is not going to stop or cause a actual concussion because you can get a concussion in them first 2 minutes. So if that's the reason why they saying it, me personally, I don't agree. But I tend to think that women are registering as having concussions more than men or at a higher risk because we actually go to the doctor. Men will suck it up. And with a concussion, time is the best healer of all wounds. There's not no pill that you could take to take away a concussion. You just have to relax and let things heal. And you might can have swelling around your brain, and there's things that they could do there. I mean, don't take me all the way literal, but I'm just saying in general. There's no magic pill that you take me like, oh, I got a concussion, doc, and they give you a shot or a pill, and then all of a sudden you don't have a concussion. That's not how it works. Time heals all wounds. So to me, adding a minute to the women's boxing is not a big deal. Really not. Look, Red. Look what I'm drinking. Red, you know that's the truth right there. But like I said, until tell enough people advocate for it, or maybe they got to do some test runs, like do a couple of 6 rounders or 4 rounders with 3 minutes, and see how see test it out. See if people actually like the boxing. I think they will. I'll pay to see it. I would pay to see it. And like I said, my money green just like theirs. So I don't know. They're gonna have to pay them more, and maybe they don't want them as men's equal. It's not about being men's equal. This is the dangerous part that I'm gonna get into, and I might be misunderstood. We don't want to be as women equal to y'all. Like it's not about that. We don't even have a desire to be superior to y'all. You guys are the only one to really think about that in those terms. We don't really be thinking about I want to be superior to this man or equal. When we say equal, we talking about really fairness. That's all we really talking about. But when I think of equal, this is the thing. Anybody who was born a man, I don't give a fuck what you do in your personal life. You can't then turn around and change your sex or however they do it, and then say, I want to compete against women. Because first and foremost, you got to be 18 to compete in boxing, right? That's the law of the country. So if you take a guy, or in combat sports, period. So if you take a guy who was born a man and now he's a woman, and he thinks he should compete with women, no. If you wanted to compete in combat sports, you probably should have stayed a man. And I say that respectfully. If you see yourself as a woman, that's your business. I don't personally care. But you can't then come into women's sports and compete because you have an unfair advantage and you could cause some damage. For instance, when everybody hits puberty, we know that our bodies develop and change. Men grow stronger and women don't. Okay? Well, they do, but not at the rate or pace that men do. So, and it's not the same strength. So that means your bones are different than ours. Your muscle tone or the ability to create muscles is different than ours. Once you go through that process, you can't undo it. You can look soft all day long, but you can't undo it. That's why some gay men that's real flamboyant, they'll wax the ass of some straight guys. I've seen it and wax their damn ass because they still a man. So no, you shouldn't be fighting a woman. And women who vice versa. Be crazy if you try to say, I want to compete in the males on the male side. You don't even hear women saying that. There's only men who want to become women who turn around and say they want to compete against women. Why? So you can have the advantage? You probably be at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to competing against men, but you at the top of the list. You at the top of the barrel when you compete against women. Make that make sense to who that makes sense to. It don't make sense to me, and it shouldn't make sense to nobody. And I'm not picking on the what is it, LGBTQ community or anything when I say that. If you were born a man and you went through puberty and all that, it is not fair. It's not right for you to then, I don't care what you do, then try to compete against women because you have an unfair advantage. Period. I'm gonna get out there because I don't want nobody attacking my page saying that I was talking crazy about the LGBTQ QRS or whatever they are. You know, I'm not. I'm not talking bad about you. I just believe that you have an unfair advantage, and sporting communities shouldn't allow it. Sorry, I, I can't. Why would I want to see a sporting event when I already know who's gonna be the winner? Who wants to look at that? There's people who got to work, and they be looking at they like avid basketball fans or football. And I know I've seen my dad did this before. He'd just come home from maybe he was engaged in something. He'd be like, "Don't tell me who won. Don't tell me. I taped it." Because people don't want to see stuff that they already know how it turned out. They don't want to see it. And that's the same. That's what I see when I see men who become women who try to compete in women's sports. I already know who won. You nigga, you won. I don't want to see that shit. How can I get happy about that? You said laugh out loud because they pew three $3,315. What does that mean? Red, I ain't keep up with the lingo. What does that mean? Oh, pussy. I guess that's what you're trying to say. Now I'm slow on the uptake on that one. But yeah, there gonna be people who disagree with me, but I'm talking about fairness. And that's all I care about. I want fairness when men fight men. I want fairness when women fight women. I just want fairness. But I do believe if you add another minute to the rounds for women, that it's gonna make it better. But you can test that theory out. But again, everybody who gets in the ring know At worst case scenario, you can die in the ring. This is why they got 12 rounds now, because somebody died pretty much in the ring after a 15 round fight. So they figured, hey, we got to lower these rounds. It still didn't take away the danger of somebody dying in the ring. And that can happen. But men be like, I sign up for this shit. I'm with it. Give me all the smoke. And the women who fight be like, I signed up for this shit. I'm with it. Give me all the smoke. So add the extra minute. If they get a concussion, then they'll know that boxing ain't for them. But not every woman is gonna get a concussion. Like we was talking about yesterday, there's a lot of women who've been with men for 30 and 40 years and was getting their ass kicked all along by a dude. And I'm not making light of it. But shit, if that didn't give you some concussions, but yet they lived a full life, they raised their kids, and they going into old age. Some people are not so lucky. So I'm definitely not making light of it, but it happens. That's why I say is leave it up to the woman who choose to be in that sport. If she feel like it's too dangerous for her, or she getting one too many concussions, or and you can test it. You can test it. You can disqualify people because of their health. So, like after the fight or within the week of the fight, they got to check them to make sure they don't have a concussion. If they have a concussion, that's one. Then if it happens again, two, and it's you can compile statistical data to see is it every fight that they have, or is it certain fighters, or why are they getting concussions frequently? And if they're a person who get concussions frequently, then they don't pass the health screening. You can do it that way, but that's not going to apply or be applicable to everybody. So that's what I say. Now, here's a part of the show that I'm gonna talk about. Thank you, Reg and Lou Dub, for being in here. Here's a part of the show that I'm gonna talk about where I'm talking about my juicing, and but I'm gonna try to correlate it to boxing. Today was a hard day for me. I ain't gonna lie, it was a hard day. I had to go out and run some errands, and I was very vulnerable today because I'm hungry as a bitch. I'm hungry. I'm very hungry. I hope you're ready. I hope you're hungry. I'm hungry. I have decided August 6th to do a vegan diet. I'm sticking to it. You guys gonna hold my feet to the fire, whether I cheat or not. So, do I cheat? Yeah, I have candy around here. You know those Werther's caramel soft candies. You got the hard ones, but you got soft ones. Yo, oh yeah, they give me life at times. I cheat with that. I have butterscotch around here. When I eat a banana, I put peanut butter on it, but sometimes just the sheer habit of putting something in your mouth, and I mean that in a respectable way, Red. The habit of putting something in your mouth, you can't escape it. You really just, you can't escape it. And it's like, it be calling you. And so today I'm out and about and food is everywhere. Like, you don't even notice restaurants that tell your ass on the diet. And so I had to go by the bank. And when I come out the bank, McDonald's was right there. Then I go down the street, another place was right there. And I was like, oh my God, get your ass home. So I literally had to haul tail home just so I don't cheat. And I did. And I got home and I didn't cheat. I made me a juice and I'm sipping on it, drinking on it. It hit the spot, but some kind of way I got to make sure I don't fold at all today. Now, how do I correlate it back to boxing? If boxers want to know a healthier way to drop weight fast, then I'm going to suggest that you fast. Fasting is good. It recharges your body, it rejuvenates your body, and it works. You say I had IHOP, laugh out loud, pancakes, bacon, and eggs. How you getting down like that, Ray? I thought you was juicing too. When we say juicing, we talking about no cheating shit. We talking about actual taking food and making it into a juice. But I'm gonna do this until October, and actually being on this channel. is a motivator for me to keep at it and keep doing it. I started on August 6th. I do not want to get on the scale every time you turn around, but every blue moon I probably get on the scale, especially when my clothes are, changing and how they fit. At this point, from August 6th, I've dropped 15 pounds. Um, that's a lot to some people. It's really not hitting the mark for me. You know, I got a lot more to go, and all I do is try to get through a day at a time. But like going back to boxing, let's say you got a fight coming up. If you never juiced before, I wouldn't say try it at the end of your training camp. I would recommend that you try it at the very beginning of your training camp because you're gonna go through sugar withdrawals. And sugar withdrawals period, it feels just like any other withdrawals. If you whatever you are addicted to and you stop doing it and you go through withdrawals, sugar withdrawals feel the same way. So the first time you do it, that's gonna hit you hard. It's gonna make you tired. It's gonna make you sleepy. So I say if it's ever the first time you're doing it, then go ahead and get in the bed and just relax. Don't quit. It'll get better. But them first 3 days, 3 or 4 days, gonna be torture. I mean, because you're gonna feel weak, your body gonna ache. You're gonna think you're sick, but you're not. You're just going through withdrawals. Uh, what you say? I am, but treatment have me starving and um, in need of protein. Okay, protein is in fruits and vegetables. I know for a fact. When you get a certain age and you go to the doctor and you start testing. Now, and I'm gonna put the age group as 40s. 40s is the age group where you got to become aware and be woke on about a lot of stuff. Because if you miss it, sometimes that can mean your life. You know what I'm saying? Or your health overall. So when you go to the doctor and they test things, they test you. I've had a doctor tell me in my 40s that you don't have enough protein. And I was tripping because I eat the ass off of chicken. Man, I'm eating protein all day long. I'm eating meatloaf. I'm eating, whatever. And this doctor is telling me you don't have enough protein. And I'm like, but I eat meat all the time. And that is when I learned that all protein ain't good protein. But when and this is around the time that I first started juicing. So when I went back to the doctor, because every 3 months I had to go in and get tested, he said, "What you do? What happened? What did you do?" Because I was like on a severe depletion of protein, but I was eating meat, nothing but meat. I'm a meat eater. Me personally, what I like. What I did was I stopped eating meat altogether and I just ate fruits and vegetables. And there's plenty of proteins in your fruits and vegetables. If you don't think that you can be kind of vegan and box, that's not true. You have to look at Timothy Bradley because in his latter part of his career, that's all he did. He was a vegan. And you look at his body, he don't look like no whimpering, skinny, weak person. And if you look at all animals on this earth, every major big animal on this earth, they're vegans, but yet they're the biggest animals on this earth. So that's what I'm doing because I tell boxers, I told you I volunteer at a boxing gym and I help boxers. I aid in them, getting their weight off by what we do in the gym, but also, I give them advice or suggestions, and some of them take them, some of them don't. Some people want to do this, and some people don't, and I respect that. But I be telling them like, if you need to drop some weight as a boxer, if you never juiced before, and when I say juice, I mean taking fruits and vegetables and making them juices. If you never did that before, then you want to do it at the beginning of your training camp. Because if your training camp is like 8 weeks, you want to do it that first week. And then, that first week, just be in the bed. Your trainer will understand if y'all work together and communicate. He will understand. After that first week, the next hurdle you're gonna cross is where I'm at today. I'm 12 days into juicing. I lost 15 pounds and I'm hungry as a Boy, I tell you, I'm so goddamn hungry. It's gonna take a lot of willpower for me not to succumb to eating. And like my daughter, I can smell the food that she got going on in the background, and or she'll be like, "Can you go pick me up?" I can't do a motherfucking thing. I can't go near no goddamn food. I better not even stare at a restaurant too long. That's reckless eyeballing. Straight up, I can't do none of that shit. So when I was out today, I was doing my best not to reckless eyeball. I went in, handled my business in the bank, and handled my business with the other place I went. And I mean, I made a beeline for the house because I knew if I stayed out there any longer, that I was hitting up somebody's restaurant and I was going, whew, I could taste the food. Like, that's how bad I'm hungry today. But I know it's just a barrier because, like I said, I did this before and came back. That whole year, my blood levels wasn't good. I didn't have enough protein, and I was like, I'm eating a lot of meat, but my protein levels were low. Came back, did this, came back and did that, and when I did the juicing the first time, it was a big improvement. My eczema cleared up, my asthma stopped, just everything, all the issues I have medically just stopped. So I do recommend it to boxers as a way to quickly get weight off because all you have to do is about a week. To be honest, everybody should fast at least 3 or 4 times a year. Everybody. And I cannot do the fast where you don't eat nothing. Now that ain't me. So I juice. I am eating. I'm not missing a meal. There's all kinds of shit. There's kale, cabbage, um, spinach, carrots, and the other fruits to make it sweet. I'm not missing a meal. So I won't pass out when I'm walking down the street or anything like that. But I just feel like every boxer should incorporate that into their regimen or their routine. Detox your system, especially, especially. If anybody come back and watch this video later, I'm talking to the fighters who got stomach issues. Tim Gray in the building. What's up, King? He said, "Sorry he late." That's okay, King. We cooking on this healthy eating thing because I'm about that too. And like I was explaining earlier, I volunteer at a boxing gym. I'm actually trying to get my license to be a trainer or a coach, and the guys are working with me. But I help guys with their weight issues, trying to get the weight off really quick. So one day I'm gonna do a video, or we're gonna have a live session where we just talk about health and fitness, and I can tell y'all why I learned the stuff I learned, why I advocate the stuff I advocate, because I'm operating from a deficit off the rip. I had thyroid cancer years ago, about 25 years ago, and I don't have a thyroid gland. So I'm not gonna go into depth because I don't want to bore nobody, but that's where I'm starting from. This is where I get my ideas. This is what I had to learn. I had to learn a new way of life. So back to telling fighters that in the beginning of your training camp, if you have an 8-week training camp, that first week you should juice. Now people can say I don't like the juice. I'd rather just eat the shit. And that's cool too. But then I'm gonna ask the question of what get in the body quicker, the shot or the pill? And when you're talking about juicing, the juice is the shot, and eating is the pill. You have to lose 80. Hey, I'm probably right there with you. Quiet is kept. If I want to be my young girl weight, well, shit, I probably never see that. But in either way, I'm gonna try. And I'm telling you guys this, like I said, y'all gonna hold my feet to the fire because coming the end of September, if if y'all don't, y'all will see it. Y'all will see it because I don't know if you heard this, Tim Gray, that I started this August 6th. I'm 15 pounds down. It's not fake weight. I promise y'all, it's not fake weight. You'll hear people say, "I got a thyroid problem." I am the prototype of having a thyroid problem because I don't even have the organ, not a piece of it. I take pills to live for the rest of my life. It was removed from me 25 years ago. And I'm telling you, August 6th to today is 12 days, and I'm down 15 pounds. And did I cheat? Hell, look, I cheat with junk food because I'm going to tell y'all a secret. Junk food is not as bad as regular food. Why? Because we know that there's sugar and stuff in like a candy bar. Like you could take a king size Milky Way, right? And compare it to a slice of bread. And the average person who don't know any better would say, I'll take the bread. Me, I'm gonna say, give me the Milky Way. Because the Milky Way has less sugars in it than the slice of bread do. Even though you eating a slice of bread and it doesn't taste sweet, it has less sugar than the bread do. The bread will put the weight on, but the Milky Way won't. Not you're not gonna sit up there and eat a Milky Way every hour on the hour or all day every day. You will eat a Milky Way every now and then, and that's how people eat junk food. Don't nobody sit up. I don't know anybody. I don't think I've ever met anybody who sit up there and eat junk food every hour or every couple of hours or every time it's time to eat. That's not how our bodies work. That's not how our mind works. Tim Gray said, didn't know that. Yeah. And you guys, I ask for your trust, but I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you, because talking can sometimes be cheap, but documentation beats conversation. And I promise you, there's no way in hell I'm gonna divulge this to you guys and then don't stick with it. It took everything in me not to eat in these restaurants out here in these streets. And like I said, sometimes you gotta maybe you gotta just go to work and come home. The first time I did it, I had to cut off friends. Believe it or not, I had to cut off friends. I had to stop hanging with some friends because you got friends be like, "Oh, girl, you can eat this and you can eat that," and I'm like, "What? I just told you what I'm trying to do. Why you putting that shit up in my face?" I had to do that, and I had to stay vigilant. And then those same friends, like, if I lose 5 pounds, I get it. You might not see it. If I lose 10, maybe you'll see, maybe not. But if I lose 30 pounds, you gonna tell me you can't see that? I have friends who wouldn't even mention it. That's like me buying a new dress and coming home and my man don't say, "Oh, you look nice." I be goddamn, nigga, you better recognize this dress I got on, or this outfit I got on, or this hairdo. You know how girls is. We don't just do it just for ourselves. But still it would be nice if your friend would be like, "Girl, you is doing the damn thing." Belle says, what's the matchup you want to see? What you talking about, Belle? What matchups? I want Canelo to pick a fighter and stop being a bitch about it. Stop being particular. You're not paying them out your pocket. Pick somebody. You got 3 people that called you out. Really 4, because Benavidez wanted to fight him too. So what's the problem? That's what I want. I want T.O. to fight Devin. I want all the 135 to match, mix it up at the top tier, the top tier fighters. I want people to stop passing 126-pound division. What is that? The I don't even know what you call that. But I know Gary Russell is in it. I want them to stop passing Gary Russell Jr. and fight him. Crawford, that's my boy. I'm not gonna say nothing, Red. But when he beat Sean Porter, I'm gonna be on this bitch talking shit and swallowing spit. You know what I'm saying? You better be ready to say something, Red, because he gonna catch Porter coming in there. And that's gonna be all they wrote. AJ, another ducker. Tyson Fury, the biggest duck of all. But I'm coming to the end of my show, so I was talking about um the juicing and everything. So I let people know what I'm doing. I already see some of the effects. Like my eczema is clearing up. For those of you know, I suffer severely from eczema, and that's clearing up. I haven't had to puff on my asthma pump in a while. Seemed like a while because I normally have to do it at least once a day. But anywho, like I said, I'm gonna have a show dedicated to just juicing, and we're gonna see what it do. We're gonna see what it do, cause I wanna show what I'm talking about more than I want to tell what I'm talking about. And how I correlated that to boxing is that when I'm at the gym and I see people that's coming up on the fight, these are the things that I suggest. I even try I'm doing it as a business. Right now, experience is a good teacher. So I'm teaching myself, or I'm letting myself get the experience of dealing with multiple people, whether you're in sports or not, helping them out in this area. Like I know this stuff like the back of my hand, but I don't have the advantages that you guys have. I'm already starting at a deficit. So don't look at so much as what I'm doing. Just know that if you do what I'm doing, shit, boy, you're gonna be balling out of control. So Tim Gray, if you wanna go in depth about it, you can email me at boxingfanstalktv at gmail.com. That's my personal email too. And we can chop it up and we can come up with recipes or whatever. I do that too. So, um, you guys will see. You guys will see. I'm confident that you will. But today was a hard day. This is around this time because I'm in my second week. So around your second week, you're gonna have one of them hungry days, and that you just you be standing about to die. You know. Oh, Reggie Bell says thank you, Tim Gray, for joining in. Yeah. I thought I had some more people, but I didn't have many people today. But it's a work in progress. Don't worry about it. I'm sure when I look at how many people viewed my show, there's always more people that viewed it than people that was in live. But I appreciate it, and I'm gonna try to mix the show up like with that. But it's tomorrow's show. I'm not sure what we're gonna be talking about. I look for the relevant news. I always say, and in my shows, with when you know better, you do better, and that's the story of my life. I learned things later in life. Sometimes it's probably supposed to be that I walk through the traps and fall through, and just so I can tell my homies behind me or my family behind me, don't walk here because this was gonna happen. You're gonna fall in this hole. Sometimes I think that that's what I'm here for, to help people not make mistakes that I did. Because I walk into shit blindly all the time. I don't mind because I just put myself out there. But well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. When you know better, you do better. Remember that. Peace. Thank you, Red. Thank you, Tim Gray. Thank you, Dub, and anybody else that came in and popped back out. Thank you.